Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So, the final episode of Game of Thrones is finished. I've never done a Game of Thrones video before, but it's a show that I've watched since the very first episode. Never missed one, obviously. Duh, you can't afford to miss an episode of Game of Thrones. And now that the whole thing is over, I thought I'm going to chime in with probably my first and last ever Game of Thrones video. to kind of give you my thoughts about where we are. Now, I just want to start off by saying I've loved Game of Thrones. I've absolutely loved it. I think it's a show like no other, and I don't think there's going to be a show that's going to come close to it for many years to come. Budget, scale, scope, and I think the acting has just been absolutely phenomenal throughout the 8-9 years that the show's been around. And like most people, I have had massive problems with Season 8. Even Season 7 and Season 5, which some people have had issues with, I've been okay with. I've been absolutely okay with. Sure, I do recognise that since they ran out of source material, the show has significantly dipped in terms of quality of writing, etc. But still, the actors have really pulled it through. There are some tremendous actors on this show, and they've always carried the source, the writing, the material that they've been given, and elevated it in the case of many actors. And so it's always been a very enjoyable experience. But this Season 8 has just been, I don't know. Because the first two episodes I thought was just building farewells for what was going to be the huge battle at Winterfell. The battle at Winterfell felt really disappointing, not because a lot of these threads weren't finished and there were way too many survivors, but the fact that Arya got the kill on the Night King, which didn't make sense. Got no issues with Arya. I think she's wonderful. But her story is the list of names. So if Arya was going to get a big kill, it was going to be Cersei. That's what it was going to be. Jon's story's the Night King, and it should have been him that defeated the Night King. This subverting of expectation nonsense fell flat for me. So I wasn't angry or per se or anything like that, but I did feel highly disappointed, and I did feel as if I personally had been robbed of what should have happened, because it didn't logically make any sense. And then I did believe maybe episode 4 will course correct that. Maybe episode 4 will actually get some answers to the questions. No, episode 4 turned out to be ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. The whole business with Rhaegal getting killed when Dany's flying above and she can see everything, and yet she can't see a fleet of ships, which apparently are quite a distance away, and yet can shoot down with 3 real precise hits a flying dragon going real quick. That's just by the by. The whole thing that Dany didn't see the fleet is stupid enough in itself. And then everything that you should have seen in episode 4, you didn't see. When Jon told Arya and Sansa that he was actually Aegon Targaryen, you were waiting for their reaction. But he just says, Bran, tell them. And then it cuts away. Wait, we wanted to see that. When Missandei gets told by Grey Worm to get on the skiff. And then the next thing you know, oh, she's been captured. You didn't see the capture. You didn't see how things happened. And then, of course, the whole fleet. You didn't see the fleet. And on top of that, you had the ridiculous teleporting. You had Dany start off at Winterfell, and then she was at Dragon's Dick, and then she was at King's Landing. And it was just so jarring, considering there'd been seasons where people were travelling from the King's Landing up north, like Arya and the Hound and things like that. Seasons of So you had episodes upon episodes of the journey, but in one episode it's just like pew pew pew, and teleporting does get very jarring because it means you're rushing, which means you need more time, which means you need more episodes, which means you need more building. So that's why it got very jarring. And then Missandei getting executed at the end, fair enough, and everything. But when the 5th episode started, again, I thought it had a good build-up, good half hour of build-up. The way that Dany demolished everything with the dragon really showed how powerful a dragon can be. I mean, it contradicted everything that happened in the last episode with Rhaegal, but never mind. And it made the threat of the scorpions completely mute. so that you didn't ever feel as if when she was going around wrecking, there was in any trouble whatsoever. And then, of course, when the bell rings, and you can see that she's not going to listen to this bell. But I thought she was just going to go to the Red Keep and attack the Red Keep and Cersei. And destroying the top of the Red Keep would make the rubble fall down, which meant potentially thousands of innocent civilians would die. And that's what was going to cause the conflict between Jon and Daenerys. But no, I'm on record saying I loved episode 5. Why? Because it just went off it just turned into a comedy. When she just started annihilating the whole of King's Landing. It was just like, what is going on? What are you doing? And I wasn't like, what are you doing in a stop it kind of way. It's like, I was laughing. It's like, oh no, there's some children. She's going to hit the children. And I'm just laughing because it's just like, literally a few, like last season, she was just like, I'm not going to be Queen of the Ashes, and I'm not going to kill kids. I'm here to save people and free people. And like, a couple of weeks later, everything must die. So I'm just there laughing my nuts off. Arya's running around the town as like a Keystone Cops episode, with just things falling, dragon fire everywhere, and she's like, dead. Oh, and she's alive again. Dead. Oh, and she's alive again. Dead. Oh, she's alive again. And it just felt as if everyone got cheated. Jaime and Cersei being killed by the rubble. Everyone got cheated of Cersei's death. I did like Clegane Bowl. I did like Clegane Bowl a lot, actually. And yeah, that was fun. So anyway, episode 6. So episode 6 actually starts off serious, and I like that because the tone, the music, Peter Dinklage's incredible acting. You really felt the weight of what had happened. It was a bit of an oh shit type of moment. The city's annihilated, ashes raining down like snow. You see dead kids in the street. You see, burnt people walking past. It's horrendous. And you can only imagine that Peter Dinklage is probably scared to death. He's probably angry as can be. Might even have PTSD. Definitely in shock. And likely thinking he's going to get killed anyway because he freed Jaime in the last episode. So it was really well played by Peter Dinklage. And then you get to the Red Keep, and Peter's there, and Jon Snow turns up, and then Daenerys lands on Drogo, and you have that great visual of the dragon wings where Daenerys is walking forward, so it looks like she's a dragon. I like the visual. And then she comes out, and oh no, it's Adolf Daenerys. Sieg Daenerys, and she's just stood there at the top of the stairs like, Ich bin eins nach 80, weiß nicht offen, schneizelt, schnutzen, fitzel zu. And I'm just like, oh boy, she's gone full Third Reich. And because the writing is so crazy and nonsensical and inconsistent, when she said to the Dothraki, you brought me over here and you promised me the 7 kingdoms and you delivered them. I thought she was just going to go kill them to the Unsullied. Because it just doesn't make any sense. So I was just looking for what didn't make sense. So I thought the Unsullied were just going to turn around and go, Fwah. You shouldn't be here anyway. You died in episode 3, but you materialised again. And I was just like, oh no, but just moments ago we had Peter Dinklage doing one of the best scenes ever in the show, where he's absolutely broken when he finds the bodies of Cersei and Jaime. And he's there and he's just weeping and he's mad and he's angry, and then you just got Adolf Daenerys. And so, she says to Tyrion, you're a traitor. And he's just like, well, yeah, I freed my brother, but I didn't kill thousands of people. And he takes his, Happy Club badge off, and he throws and he's like, I'm not renewing my subscription. I'm unsubscribing, unfriending, unfollowing, unliking you. I'm cancelling my direct debit to the Happy Club, and gets dragged away. So I'm thinking, because I'm liking it up till now, because I'm thinking, what are they going to do? Because she's just gone full postal. Jon's got nothing. He's got no support, nothing. He's got a guy with no fingers, and that's it. And Daenerys is the dragon. She has the army. She has all the power. So I'm thinking, how's it going to play out? Is Bran going to warg into Drogo and take control and use Drogo to destroy Daenerys' armies, leaving just Daenerys and Jon? And Daenerys isn't going to be able to defeat Jon. She could barely wield a sword. So Jon could easily cut her down for the interests of the kingdom. So I thought, are we going to get that? Are we going to get a build up of that? Jon tricks Daenerys into letting him go back up north or whatever, to tell Sansa to bend the knee. But really he says to Bran, look, I need you, buddy, to warg into this massive fucking dragon. But no, he just stabs her in the... And I'm just like, there's an hour left. What is going to happen? Everyone's dead now. And so Drogo comes up saying something's a bit off here. Sees that Dany's dead on the floor. Pokes her. Come on, Mummy, wake up. Mummy's not waking up. You bastard, Jon. Well, he is. No, he's not, actually. He was. You bastard, Jon. And then he just goes and breathes his fire everywhere. Then he does the cool visual of burning the Iron Throne, which makes you think, oh, Drogo realises all of this death, all of this destruction, everything is because of this bloody Iron Throne. Which would make Drogo insanely intelligent. So you could literally just say to Drogo, oh, could you nip down the 7-Eleven and get me some chips? Cheese and onion. Or prawn cocktail. Something like that. Because I could really do with a snack. You could literally talk to him like that. Drogo, you see that little rock over there? Just go pick it up. He would be that intelligent if he could understand the concept of the throat. Never mind. And so he picks Daenerys' dead body up and flies off. And so I'm like, oh, where's he going? Is he taking her body somewhere sacred? Or is he going to take the body back to where the eggs hatched? It's still in his mind where the eggs hatched, and he's going to place a body there and, scream and just like cover the body and probably just stay there for the rest of his life, protecting the dead body of Daenerys or something. Where is it? Some mystical place that they're going to go? I don't know. No, bye. See ya. Never to be seen again. So I said to myself, D&D, I've got a question. I've got a question. Why was Jon even a Targaryen? Why was Jon even a Targaryen? It didn't figure into anything. The whole point of Jon being a Targaryen and Dany being a Targaryen and Jon being male meant that her claim was null and void because of Jon. And it was Jon who was the true rightful king. And it played no part in the show at all. Which meant that whole storyline was just wasted. Absolutely wasted. So, this is where the whole episode for me completely fell off a cliff. After what I thought was a rather tense beginning, when Dany gets killed, falls off a cliff. Got an hour left of what? So we have this ridiculous council meeting, which is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. After seeing Peter Dinklage do this incredible scene where he finds the bodies of Jaime and Cersei, and then you have this unbelievably bad scene of this council, which suddenly is a comedy moment. So tonally, I'm just like, what am I meant to... I feel like I'm watching the prequels from Star Wars. I don't know tonally what I'm meant to be feeling. 1 minute, this real, Dany's got killed. Tyrion's going to get executed. Jon's now going to get probably executed. And then it's just like, I'm Edmure and I'm going to twat my sword against this thing because I'm really incompetent and I... Just like, what's going on here? So you have all the high heads of the houses who are at this council, and Grey Worm's like, I'm going to kill everyone. And they're just like, no, don't. We'd like him back. No. Well, I tell you what. We're just going to elect a king. How can we do that, Grey Worm? And he's just like, yeah, go on then. Why? Why would he agree? He's got the army. He's got the Dothraki. Sure, there's a bunch of Northerners out or somewhere outside King's Landing. But if they went, I would put my money on the Unsullied and the Dothraki tearing them apart. To be perfectly honest with you. And who knows if Drogo could hear... He wasn't that far away. Can he hear that something was happening? He'd just come back and go, fuck, and fuck them all up anyway. So, for no reason, Grey Worm allows them to elect a king. And then I was actually waiting. When they decided to do this, I was like, okay, they're going to say Sansa. They're going to say Sansa. That's who they're going to say. And when Peter Dinklage said Bran the Broken, I burst into laughter. Because I realised that if Bran knew this was going to happen, because he said, will you be the king? And he's like, why do you think I turned up? Because I knew you were going to ask me to be king, so I turned up so I could go, all right, mate. Which meant he knew everything. Which meant since he became the Three-Eyed Raven, he's literally been throwing people to their deaths. Knowing it would make him king. Oh, no. Oh, no. So his plan to kill the Night King was just put me in the safest place possible until the forces have been whittled down and I know Arya's in place to kill him. So when he turns to Theon at the end of episode 3 and goes, Theon, you're a good man, he's actually saying inside, I'm just gonna flick you like a Sabutio player at the Night King and watch you get murked. So it made Bran look almost villainous because he knew what was going to happen with Daenerys. He knew all these lives were going to be lost, all for him to become king. If Bran was a moral person, he'd be like, Jon, this is what's going to happen. Daenerys is going to go in apeshit. The Night King's going to come here. He's going to attack here. We're going to win. Daenerys is going to go apeshit. She's going to kill thousands. But if you don't do something, which meant everything with the Three-Eyed Raven was just so Bran could become the king. And thousands would die, and he knew about it. Tens of thousands would die, and he knew about it. Okay. So this is getting like really, really weird. So Bran's the king. He makes Tyrion his hand, which prevents Tyrion from getting executed. They say we want Jon back. Grey Worm's like, no, I want to kill him because he killed like my friend and shit. And so the compromise is Jon's going to go to the Night's Watch, which doesn't exist. And they palm an offer as, well, there's always going to have to be a place for reprobates and shitheads to go. No, prison? Prison or execution, depending on what they've done. I don't get it. There's no Night's Watch. The Wildlings, there's peace, and there's no whites. So why didn't Jon just go north? Go, all right, then go north and be like, sod this, I'm off to Winterfell. It's much warmer, and just go there. Because the Unsullied were pissing off to Nath, and I think they were taking the Dothraki with them to go back home. What is going on? And then there's another comedy scene where the council get together for King's Landing when Tyrion's the Hand and Bron's there and Sam's now a maester and you just have this terrible comedy skit. Well, I think we should make some brothels. Meanwhile, people are dying everywhere. And I think there was a lovely moment. I've got to say, Gwendolyn Christie. There was a lovely moment when she was filling in the book of deeds, and she came across Jaime's name and she filled out his deeds because he had virtually nothing written. And she holding back the tears, and she did well, and she's obviously the head of the King's Guard and all that kind of stuff. But then it just, Arya's just like, I'm not going to go up north. Because Sansa's just like, oh, by the way, Bran, you might be the king, but I'm going to cut your dick off. Because we do that in this show. If you don't make the North an independent state. So he's like, yeah. So he's the king of the 6 kingdoms now, not the 7 kingdoms. And then Sansa's like, I'm off to be queen. And Jon's like, I'm off to be a depressed mother for the 8th season in a row. And Arya's just like, I'm going to go west. Life is peaceful there. West in the open air. West, baby, you and me. West, that's where I want to be. I'm going to find a new continent and assassinate everybody there and take the faces. And it was just, the ending was just like, I've just watched an hour of nothing. The first 2 episodes ended up being nothing. The last hour of the show was nothing. And episodes 3, 4, and 5 were so fucking rushed. You had 3 hours you fucking wasted. Which could have at least been used to build things up. It's perfectly clear that this is way too quick. This season was way too rushed. There should have been another season. I'm not averse to Mad Dani at all. There have been moments where she's got really, hot under the collar, but she's had good advice around her to keep her in check, and her own morality is keeping in check. But sometimes, madness is like, whatever it is, all it needs is a little push. So I'm not adverse to that, but it needed a season to build it and then a season to pay it off. Not an episode. So because everything was so rushed, I didn't feel invested in the characters anymore because everything just got too ridiculous. So instead of seeing the great characters that I saw what looked like those great characters just doing things. And because everything was so condensed and rushed, I didn't have time to mourn anybody. I didn't have time to mourn Theon or Jorah or anyone. Because it was just like, quick, next episode, loads more people get killed. Quick, next episode, loads more people get... So it was just like, I haven't had time to mourn it. I haven't had time to mourn Cersei or Jaime, although if you're mourning... I'm mourning Lena Headey's great acting. Or the Hound, or whatever it is, there's been no mourning time because everything's just gone after 7 seasons of really good build. Massively disappointed. But hey, I want to end this video on a positive. Okay, I want to end this video on a positive. I want to say a huge thank you to the crew, to the cast. The cast, I think, have been fantastic. There's some amazing actors there. And I think they've all done a splendid job. They really have made me believe in these characters and get invested in these characters for such a long period of time. And I will miss them. And I'm so grateful for the work that they've done. I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes episodes. And so for the crew, a huge thank you to the crew. You have worked tirelessly to create these amazing sets, these amazing locations that really make me immersed in this incredible fantasy land. So thank you so much indeed for all of that. All the CG and the people who work on the special effects and everything, again, massive thank you to you as well. You're included in that for, again, making it look so spectacular. Season 8 aside, a big thank you to the writers, and to the producing and the directing has been excellent. You cannot fault that. It has been such a stupendous show to watch. And as I've said, I don't think we're ever going to get a show of this magnitude for a long time in terms of quality of acting, quality of script for a great period of the time, and quality of sets, etc., etc. So I do want to end it on a big thank you, because sure, this season fell flat for me. It really did, but I am so grateful for the show. I am so grateful for the series and all the pleasure that it has given me throughout the course of the last 8 or 9 years. And I'm not going to dismiss it over one season. It has been a phenomenal part of my life, and I am eternally grateful. Namaste. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the vid. And if you did, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Be seeing you.